Hey guys, it is Nick here with another Nick's Topics Dragon Ball What If topic video for you guys today. And today, I'm bringing you part 14 of What If Giran Became a Z-Fighter. Now we are approaching the end of this series and the end of this particular Dragon Ball underused character who in the original story we saw get impaled by Tambourine, have brief fights and interactions with Goku, and ultimately amount to nothing. But in this story, we saw him evolve from a simple reptile into a god of destruction candidate. And his story and his involvement in the Z-Fighters and everything is pretty noticeable. Anyways, to recap the last episode, we began and ended off with the Universe 6 vs. 7 tournament, where, since Vegeta and pretty much a bunch of fighters were not relevant in the story, were not around to take part, so Monica had to be the next best option. So, we see the tournament play out similarly up until Piccolo is defeated by Frost with the poison, but since there's no Vegeta to take his place after Piccolo gets reinstated, Piccolo takes the match again, and this stronger Piccolo defeats Frost, but unfortunately, when it comes down to Vegeta, he is suffocated and thrown out of the ring because of both, one, the heat, and Vegeta's sheer force and power. So Gohan has to take over and defeat him personally. Now, this much stronger Gohan, being trained by the gods, fights Kaba next. And I feel, like I said before, that Kaba would still learn the Super Saiyan form from anyone, even if it wasn't Vegeta. It would just be done in a much, much nicer way than Vegeta did it. So Gohan still defeats Kaba after teaching him the Super Saiyan form. We then see Gohan against Hit. Now this fight is a lot more in the favor of Gohan because he's much more tactful and mindful of his time skip than Goku, because, Goku, even though he's a strategist with fighting, can be pretty dumb at times. So the match almost goes in Gohan's favor, with Hit having to use about the same amount of power, if not a little more, but Hit still takes the fight. Anyways, since we have several fighters that were not eliminated, Giran is the next one to fight against Hit, and unleashes his tapped-into destroyer powers, although they're not completely maxed out to the benefits of an actual destroyer, against the surprised and bewildered assassin, who is both, one, surprised at how much pressure he's feeling from this guy, and two, the sheer force he uses against him to defeat him. So Hit ultimately loses. Also because of his fight with Gohan, definitely wore him out. Anyways, in the end, we saw Zeno and Goku meet like before, because I feel that wouldn't really change, per se. I also discussed in the last episode Zamasu, and the likeliness that he would go after Giran's body because of seeing him use the destroyer powers. But because of Piccolo's involvement still being around in the future timeline, that means the Dragon Balls were still present. So Goku and anybody else, since Goku did not die of the heart virus, would be revived, and even if there was a Giran Black and Immortal Zamasu, the threat would still be dealt with, and if you want an explanation, watch the last video to clue you in. Anyways, with all that out of the way, we begin our episode officially with my recap of last time, and the Grand Priest saying that Zeno, without a future Zeno, is rather bored, and has thought about the request of Goku for the Tournament of Power. Now, how about the members, you might ask? Well, first few are simple. Goku, obviously, is going to take the stead. Gohan is going to be the next one, and this is a much stronger Gohan, because, God Key. As for the other members, Piccolo is still going to be a member, a much stronger Piccolo, not by much, but noticeable enough. A much stronger Tien is going to be involved, a much stronger Krillin, and unlike the last original tournament, Yamcha is actually going to be included. Because I feel that in the original Tournament of Power, his involvement was hinted at, but instead they went with Frieza. Which I don't mind, but still. This much stronger Yamcha gets to be in the tournament. Master Roshi is still going to be in the tournament, and I definitely think that he would still go in, even with other Earthlings in, because it's the fate of the entire universe. As for Giran, what about him, you might ask? Is he going to be allowed to go in because he's being trained by a destroyer and to be the next destroyer? Well, think about this. Topo was in the tournament, or I'm sorry, Top, and he was a candidate for destroyer. Still let him in. So I feel that Giran being in wouldn't really, matter. I think that it would still be allowed. Anyways, we're still 2 members short. What are we going to do about that? Well, one of the members, Piccolo, brings up. Since Nail was still a guardian of Namek, and Piccolo never merged with him, Piccolo would still have knowledge about him and tell everyone that they could recommend Nail, but is he going to be strong enough? His power was only in the, 40,000 range? So is he going to be useful? Well, there's only one way to find out. They embark to Namek, even though Goku does not have instant transmission. They have to do it via Whis, and ask Nail if he wishes to join the tournament, and brief him on the whole thing. Nail agrees to this for the sake of his planet and the universe, but there's a catch. Him and Piccolo take the same route that Cyanel and Parina did, and merge with the entire planet. So we have 2 very powerful Namekians on the team, taking a little page out of Universe 6 Namekian's book. As for Goku, what's he going to do about the last member? Because there's still 1 member short. Well, Goku being the derpy McDirtface that he is, he chooses Frieza. Now, as I've stated before in past episodes, this is going to be a much different Frieza. Mecha Frieza instead of the original Frieza. Small difference, but noticeable enough because he's in his Mega Body gives him some form of extra strength, especially with his golden form. So the whole meeting with him down in Hell pretty much goes the same exact way. Mecha Frieza still agrees to join the team, but this time on 2 conditions. 1, he gets wished back to life, and number 2, he gets his body back. Because even though his mecha form does give him extra strength and stuff, he wants his original body back. And Goku kind of owes him this because he's the one who pretty much, and his friends, made him that way in the first place. Goku agrees to this as long as Frieza helps. Pretty much the same interactions besides the wanting his body back. As for the Universe 9 Assassins thing, since Frieza was resurrected, since we have a resurrected, basically, person, the whole Universe 9 Assassin thing would play out the same exact way. Only with the addition of true golden Mecha Frieza instead of true golden Frieza. And this definitely surprises Goku, even more so because it's Mecha Frieza and his power definitely exceeds that of his original counterpart. Now, anyways, their whole interaction would go the same way. Everything would go pretty much the same. Also, Goku would still want Hit. He would basically still put the contract out for Hit to try and kill him, just to fight with him. But it would be the first time Goku's actually fighting Hit. So it would be different in that regard, but the outcome, I feel, would be the same exact thing. Anyways, with all that out of the way, the stage is set. Everyone is ready for the Tournament of Power in the Null Realm, with some extra fighters that weren't included before, and some other fighters from before with different kinds of powers. Goku, Giran, Piccolo, Roshi, Yamcha, Gohan, Frieza, Mecha Frieza, Nail, Krillin, and Tien. All 10 for one purpose: to make sure that their universe survives. With these new kinds of characters and old characters with new powers, can they survive this tournament? Or will it go badly for them? Well, that's where we're going to be leaving things for the moment. I hope you guys genuinely enjoyed this episode. Might not have been too long plot-wise, just maybe episode-wise, but the next part should be the finale of this series. I genuinely hope that you guys have enjoyed my What If Giran Became a Z-Fighter. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I hope you guys stay tuned for the finale of this series. Until next time, folks.